Hello, grade 12. This is chapter 7, Sociology, and we're talking about deviance and social control. Now, this PowerPoint summarizes all of chapter 7, regardless of what are the parts of the sections. To start, the title is deviance. What do we mean by deviance? Deviance is any behavior or physical appearance that is socially challenged or condemned because it is different from the norms and expectations of a group. What does that mean? To make things easier and simpler, deviance is anything that is different, anything that you spot and you take another look at it. It can be a physical appearance or it can be a behavior. This behavior, it's not wrong, it's not a crime, okay? You cannot get punished for it, but it's not the usual, it's not the normal. It goes against the social norms and expectations of the people and the society. For example, gays and lesbians, apart from religion, are deviances. Why? Because they have an extreme behavior that is unacceptable socially, even though some countries now approve of it, but most of the societies do not. It's not a crime, they cannot be punished, but this is not the norm. This is not the normal thing that happens between groups. Another example would be if a woman, for example, works in a nightclub or as a stripper. Socially, these are not the good careers that people would look for. And especially for a woman or a girl, this is socially challenged or socially unaccepted. It is not wrong, it's not a crime, but yet it's not the normal expectations for this person. It also might not be behavior, it might be a physical appearance. For example, people who grow their hair like really long, or their nails, or they color their hairs differently, or for example, the emo or gothic people, um, the people with tons of tattoos on their hands and necks, and it's not wrong. And they do not hurt anyone. But physically, they look different. Physically, they do not fit the society. So this is our main topic of the lesson, which is deviance. The second definition, or the second topic that we're discussing, is conformity. We already took this definition in term 2 when we said what is group conformity. And conformity are the behaviors and appearances that we change to or we adapt to because we need to follow the standards of a different group. If you remember when we said that, if we need to, for example, join a group who is interested in reading books, group conformity number 1 would be that you have to be intellectual enough and you have to like reading. So this is group conformity. Now, social control is the method that is used to teach, persuade, or force the group's members and the non-members to comply and not to deviate. How are these three terms related? Deviance is the extreme. Conformity are the rules that we need to follow to join the expectations of the group. Social control, these are the methods that we are going to use or learn in order to find out about the group conformity and join the group so that we do not become deviant. Now, if you remember in the chapter that we talked about culture, we had folkways and norms. Folkways, these are the things that we do that apply to the details of life or routine matters. Mores, these are the norms that people define as essential to the well-being of the group. Let's remind ourselves what is the difference. Now, mores, for example, you need to stand in one line, or you need to stand up and let the elders sit. This is something, it's not a rule, it was never written in a book, but when we teach our children and the other generations, we teach them that this is something essential for the continuity of people. Folkways, these are the things that we do for the daily life routines. If you find people standing in line in a queue, you need to stand the last. You need to take your turn. You need to, for example, hold the door if someone is going to go in or outside of the door. So these are things that we need to learn and we apply it, and it helps us in our daily routines. Now, sanctions. Sanctions are reactions of approval or disapproval to others. We have positive sanctions and negative sanctions. A positive sanction, from the word itself, is an expression of approval or a reward for behaviors and appearances. For example, when you get a good grade and you show it to your parents and they nod with a smile, this is a positive sanction. A negative sanction would be, for example, if you look different than your society, your hair is dyed purple, for example, and your body is filled with piercings, so people are going to give you all sorts of weird staring looks, which makes a negative sanction, which is a sign or an expression of disapproval. Now we have, other than the positive and negative sanctions, we have informal and formal sanctions. Informal sanctions are spontaneous, unofficial expressions, whether it's of approval or disapproval, which means that your parents nodding, this is an informal sanction. People staring at you in the street, this is an informal sanction. It is nothing that is written on a piece of paper or is applied as a law or rule. So what about formal sanctions? Formal sanctions, they are systematic laws or rules or regulations that goes under certain conditions, which people either they're going to be rewarded or punished. So for example, if you go to the school and you have an exam and you cheat, the formal sanction would be that you are going, for example, to either lose points, get zero, or get suspended. The informal sanction would be, for example, the teacher staring at you and taking the paper away. So this is the difference between a formal sanction and an informal sanction. Now, crime. Remember when we discussed deviance? We said that deviance is an action that is not the same as the normal, but it's not a crime. Why? What is the difference between deviance and crime? Deviance, it's something that is different, but you do not hurt anyone around you. Crime is when the deviance breaks the law of the society and it hurts other people, therefore they have to be punished by formal sanctions or rules and laws. Now, conformists, these are people who did not violate the rules of a group, but they are treated accordingly. So far, these are a series of definitions or subtopics which all talk about the same topic, which is what is deviance, how do we stray away from a group, if we want to join a group, what do we do, how do people approve our joining or deviance, and if deviance exceeds the limits, how does it change into crime? Now, pure deviants, these are people who have broken the rules and are caught, punished, and labeled as outsiders. So people who have committed a crime, they deviated to the point that they were committed a crime, they broke the rule, and they were caught, punished. These are called pure deviants. They already made the mistake and they were punished for it. For example, someone who was, for example, considered a gay and made any certain actions that does not apply with the society in, for example, a school. He was caught, he was punished, and let's say he was suspended out of school. This person is a pure deviant. He was caught, he was punished, thank you, we are equal. Now, the master status of deviant is that it's an identification or marking a rule breaker first, as a deviant and then as having any other identification. What does that mean? When a person is considered as a deviant, there are certain levels of the deviance. Is he only violating the rules but he's not hurting anyone? Is he violating the rules and he's not hurting anyone but he's trying to push the other people to do like him? Or is he violating the rules and he does not want to listen or does not want to get punished? There are certain statuses of the deviants. Now, another term in this lesson is racial profiling. What does the word racial profiling mean? It comes from the word race. Now, racial profiling is the practice of using race as the basis for making decisions, such as stopping drivers for traffic violations or searching cars for drugs. Which means that racial profiling means that I just stop you and I punish you for no reason except that, for example, your color is black, or that you're African American, or that you're Mexican, or that you are from a different country than mine. This is racial profiling. This is profiling, judging people, punishing people, uh, hurting them based on a certain religion, based on a certain race, based on a certain nationality. Now, secret deviants, these are people who have broken the rules, but the violations were unnoticed. They broke the rules, but no one caught them. And they were not punished. So they were secretly violating the rules, but they are not yet caught. This is where we're going to stop for our first part of the lesson. You'll find another video for the continuation of the same chapter.